The day Earth joined the galactic community started with a bark. Ambassador Natalie Wright smoothed down her formal uniform one last time and looked at the golden retriever sitting obediently at her feet. Max wagged his tail, his brown eyes fixed on her face with absolute trust. "You'll behave today, right?" she asked. Max tilted his head and gave a soft woof that she chose to interpret as agreement. The diplomatic team gathered in the airlock chamber of the Earthship, Liberty Dawn. This was humanity's first official meeting with the Galactic Confederation after 2 years of radio communications. No human had ever seen an alien in person before today. "Everyone ready?" Natalie asked, looking at her team. Alan Garner, the communications specialist, nodded while stroking the orange tabby cat in his arms. "Whiskers and I are good to go, Ambassador." Heather Ross clutched her emotional support rabbit closer to her chest. The small white bunny named Thumper seemed to sense the tension, staying perfectly still. "As ready as I'll ever be," she said. Kevin. Mitchell adjusted his glasses and checked on the blue and yellow parrot perched on his shoulder. "Echo is excited to make history," he said as the bird bobbed its head. None of them had planned to bring their support animals to this historic meeting. But when the stress of first contact became too much, Earth's diplomatic corps made an exception. After all, the animals helped the team stay calm, and calm diplomats made better decisions. The ship's captain spoke through the intercom. "The Confederation delegation is ready to receive you. Good luck." The airlock doors opened, revealing a long walkway that led to the space station. 5 different alien species waited at the other end. "Remember," Natalie said quietly, "we represent all of Earth today." They walked forward together, their footsteps echoing. Natalie felt her heart beating faster with each step. The aliens watched their approach with multiple eyes, tentacles, or whatever sensory organs their species possessed. The tallest alien stepped forward. It had blue-gray skin that shimmered like silk, and 4 arms that moved with gentle grace. The translator in Natalie's ear identified it as Ambassador Zrel of the Zellarian species. "Greetings, Earth delegation," the alien's translated voice said. "We welcome you to—" That's when everything went wrong. Max, who had been perfectly behaved, until that moment suddenly perked up his ears, his tail began wagging furiously. Before Natalie could tighten her grip on his leash, the golden retriever lunged forward with happy excitement, heading straight for the Zellarian ambassador. "Max! No!" Natalie shouted, but it was too late. The previously dignified alien let out a high-pitched sound that the translator didn't even try to interpret. Ambassador Zrel backed away so quickly it nearly fell over. The other aliens scattered in what could only be described as panic. Max, thinking this was a wonderful new game, barked happily and tried to follow them. Alan's cat Whiskers hissed at the commotion and jumped from his arms, darting under a nearby console. Thumper the rabbit burrowed deeper into Heather's arms, while Echo the parrot flew up to a high perch, squawking loudly. Chaos spread through the reception area. Alien diplomats were pressing themselves against walls, hiding behind furniture, or making distress calls in their native languages. One small green alien pointed a trembling appendage at Max. "Control your emotional weapon," the translator squawked. Natalie finally caught Max's leash and pulled him back. "He's not a weapon, he's just friendly. The creature projects aggression directly into our minds," another alien called out. "We sense its intent to hunt." "What? No, he just wants to play." Natalie tried to explain, but the damage was done. Security officers from both species arrived. The human guards helped round up the scattered support animals while the alien security maintained a safe distance, pointing devices that might have been weapons at the Earth pets. 2 hours later, the diplomatic team sat in an isolation chamber. Their animals were confined in separate carriers. A message appeared on the room's screen. The Confederation Security Council requests an immediate explanation regarding unauthorized psychic entities brought aboard this station. Natalie looked at Max, who gazed back with innocent eyes. "I think," Alan said slowly, "we may have made a terrible first impression." 3 days after the disastrous first meeting, the Earth diplomatic team sat in their assigned quarters on the space station. Their animals had been moved to a special OI containment area that the aliens called a psychic isolation chamber. I miss Max, Natalie said, staring out the window at the stars. They won't even let me visit him. They're treating our pets like they're dangerous weapons, Alan said. He hadn't slept well without Whiskers curled up next to him. A soft chime announced a visitor. The door slid open to reveal a small alien with pale violet skin and large, shimmering eyes. According to their briefing materials, this was a Vosari, one of the Confederation's leading scientists. I am Dr. Neary, the alien said through the translator. I have been studying your companions. Kevin sat up straight. Are they okay? We've been worried. They are physically well, Dr. Neary said, but they are most unusual. May I sit? This conversation requires detail. Once they were all seated, Dr. Neary placed a small device on the table. It projected an image of Max, who appeared to be sleeping peacefully in a comfortable-looking room. Your animals broadcast emotions, Dr. Neary said. Did you know this? The humans exchanged confused looks. What do you mean by broadcast? Heather asked. All Confederation species have some form of empathic sense, Dr. Neary explained. We feel the emotions of those around us. It helps us understand each other despite our different biologies. But your animals... The alien shuddered slightly. Their emotional projections are overwhelming. Natalie leaned forward. Are you saying our pets are telepathic? Not telepathic. They don't send thoughts. They project pure emotions, and with incredible strength. Dr. Neary touched the device, and the image changed to show brain scans. This is a normal Vosari brain, and this is a Vosari brain when exposed to your dog for just 30 seconds. The difference was dramatic. The second brain scan showed intense activity across all regions. The emotional output of Earth animals overloads our sensory systems. Dr. Neary continued. But the dogs are particularly problematic. Why dogs specifically? Kevin asked. Dogs form unusually strong emotional bonds with humans. They feel joy, loyalty, and protective instincts with an intensity that is frightening to us. Dr. Neary's large eyes blinked rapidly. When your dog saw Ambassador Zrel, it projected feelings of excitement and curiosity so strong that it caused physical pain to everyone nearby. Alan frowned. But we've never felt anything like that from our pets. Humans appear immune, Dr. Neary agreed. We believe it is because you evolved together on an isolated planet, without connection to the galactic empathic network. The alien stood up and walked to the window. The Security Council is concerned. Many species now view Earth animals as dangerous. There is talk of banning them from all Confederation spaces. That's ridiculous, Natalie protested. Our animals aren't dangerous, they just feel things strongly. Dr. Neary turned back to face them. I wonder if I might try an experiment. I would like to bring a Vosari liaison to meet one of your animals. Under controlled conditions. Perhaps we can learn to adapt to each other. The next day, Natalie sat in an observation room. Through a window, she could see Max in another room, lying on a comfortable bed. A small door opened and a cat-sized alien creature with the same violet skin as Dr. Neary entered cautiously. Max raised his head, his tail beginning to wag slowly. The small alien froze, then took another step forward. Through her earpiece, Natalie could hear Dr. Neary narrating. The liaison is feeling the dog's curiosity. Now affection. It's intense but not painful if approached gradually. The Vosari liaison moved closer to Max, who remained calm but attentive. Suddenly, Max gave a small, friendly bark. The reaction was immediate. The small alien curled into a tight ball and began to tremble. What happened? Natalie asked, alarmed. Joy. Dr. Neary's voice sounded strained. Your dog projected pure joy, at such strength that it triggered our protective hibernation response. The liaison will recover, but this proves how problematic Earth animals could be. An alarm sounded throughout the station. Over the intercom, a voice announced, Attention all personnel, the Confederation Security Council has begun formal proceedings to classify Earth animals as unregulated psychic entities requiring immediate quarantine. 6 months after the ban on Earth animals went into effect, Lisa Ortiz stared out the window of her small shop on Jupiter Station. The view showed a mix of human and alien vessels docking at the busy trading hub. As a former veterinarian, she had found a new calling here at the edge of human space. The bell over the door jingled as Sam Cooper entered, carrying a small crate with air holes. He looked around nervously before setting it down on the counter. "Got the shipment," he whispered. 3 cats, 2 rabbits, and a cockatiel. All cleared medical screening on Earth. Lisa nodded and opened the crate slightly. Inside, a gray tabby cat blinked up at her. Perfect timing. The Zephyrian delegation arrives in 2 hours. Sam ran a hand through his short brown hair. "The Biosecurity Authority is getting stricter. They searched my ship twice before letting me dock." "They know something's happening," Lisa said, "but they can't prove it yet. What they were doing wasn't exactly legal." After the Confederation banned Earth animals from all diplomatic and trade spaces, Lisa had discovered something unexpected. Some aliens were actually seeking out contact with Earth pets, specifically the Zephyrians, moth-like empathic aliens who struggled with emotional expression. A hidden door at the back of the shop opened, and a tall, thin alien with delicate wings entered. This was Trill, their Zephyrian contact. "Are they here?" Trill asked, antenna quivering with what Lisa had learned to recognize as excitement. "Just arrived," Lisa said, smiling. "Is your group ready?" "Yes. They are waiting in the usual place. They have brought the payment." Sam moved the crate to the back room while Lisa flipped the sign on the door to closed. The front of the shop sold legitimate pet supplies to the growing number of humans living on Jupiter Station. But the real business happened in the rooms, behind it. They walked through a short corridor to a large room where 6 Zephyrians waited, their wings gently folding and unfolding with nervous energy. When Lisa entered with the crate, they made a soft humming sound that her translator didn't even try to interpret. "Remember the rules," Lisa said as she set down the crate. "Approach slowly, one at a time. If you feel overwhelmed, move away immediately." She opened the crate and Sam gently lifted out the first cat, a gentle tabby named Misty. He placed her on a soft cushion in the center of the room. The first Zephyrian approached cautiously, kneeling near the cat. Misty looked up, blinked slowly, and began to purr. The alien's wings fluttered rapidly, then settled into a peaceful pattern. "It helps us feel," Trill explained to Lisa. "On our world, emotions must be controlled, regulated. But your animals," the alien made a gesture with delicate fingers. "They feel without shame or restraint. It teaches us." Over the next hour, each Zephyrian spent time with one of the animals. Lisa watched as the aliens visibly relaxed, their movements becoming more fluid and natural. This was why she risked breaking the ban. These therapy sessions were helping the aliens process feelings they usually suppressed. As the session ended, a loud alarm blared throughout the station. Sam's communicator beeped urgently. "Biosecurity sweep," he hissed. "They're checking all shops in this sector." The Zephyrians froze in fear. Trill looked at Lisa. "If they find us with these animals, get the pets back in the crate," Lisa ordered Sam. "Take the Zephyrians through the emergency exit. I'll stall them." Sam quickly gathered the animals while the aliens hurried toward the hidden exit. Lisa returned to the front of the shop, heart pounding. Through the window, she could see biosecurity officers in black uniforms moving from store to store. Just as the last Zephyrian disappeared through the exit, the shop door burst open. 4 officers entered, scanning devices in hand. "This is a Biosecurity Authority inspection," the lead officer announced. "We have reports of illegal Earth animals on the premises." Lisa kept her face calm. "I sell supplies only. No live animals. Here." The officers pushed past her into the back rooms. Lisa held her breath, hoping Sam had gotten everyone out in time. When the officers returned to the main shop, they looked frustrated. The lead officer gave her a suspicious look. "All clear," he said reluctantly. "This time." After they left, Lisa allowed herself to breathe again. She went to check the back rooms, expecting them to be empty. Instead, she found a single German shepherd sitting calmly in the center of the therapy room. The dog wasn't one of the animals Sam had brought. Lisa had never seen it before. The dog looked at her with intelligent brown eyes and wagged its tail once. Dr. Olivia Mendez adjusted her lab coat and looked through the observation window. On the other side, a small fluffy dog played with a ball, while 3 alien scientists monitored readings on their devices. The aliens kept their distance, clearly nervous about the little animal. "Are you getting good data?" she asked through the communication system. One of the aliens, a tall, blue-skinned Centauri with 4 eyes, nodded. "The emotional output patterns are unlike anything we've ever recorded." Olivia had spent the last 4 months on the Confederation science vessel Discovery, working with alien scientists to understand why Earth animals affected aliens so strongly. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, she was determined to solve this mystery before the Confederation made the animal ban permanent. The door to the observation room opened, and a Hryxian scientist entered. Hryxians resembled tall, thin humans except for their golden skin and 6-fingered hands. "Dr. Mendez, I think we found something important," said the Hryxian, whose name was Kelv. "May I show you?" Kelv led Olivia to a laboratory filled with holographic displays. With a wave of his 6-fingered hand, he brought up an image of the galaxy. "This is a map of what we call the psychic network," Kelv explained. "Most intelligent species evolved with some connection to it." The map showed colored lines connecting various star systems, forming a web-like pattern across the galaxy. But one area, Earth's solar system, stood completely isolated with no connections to the network. "Earth evolved in psychic isolation," Kelv continued. "Your planet's magnetic field and unique radiation patterns created a bubble that blocked the network. As a result, Earth life developed differently." Olivia stared at the map, understanding dawning. "So while other species evolved with constant low-level telepathic contact, Earth creatures developed their emotions without constraints," Kelvy finished. "Your animals became emotional superprojectors. They feel more intensely and project those feelings more powerfully than any other known species." "And dogs?" Olivia asked, thinking about the Confederation's particular fear of Earth's canines. Kelv brought up new images showing brain scans of various Earth animals. The dog scans glowed much brighter in certain regions. "Dogs are unique because they co-evolved with humans for thousands of years," Kelv explained. "They developed extraordinary emotional intelligence to bond with your species. When a dog forms a bond with a human, it creates something we've never seen before." He showed a split screen. A dog brain and a human brain, connected by patterns of energy. "The dog becomes an emotional amplifier for the human," Kelv said, his voice filled with wonder and fear. "It senses human emotions, processes them, and broadcasts them at frequencies that pierce our psychic defenses. It's like a psychic megaphone." Olivia sat down heavily. "So when Max, Ambassador Wright's dog, ran toward the Zellarian ambassador, the dog was projecting not just its own excitement but also the ambassador's hopes and fears about first contact," Kelv said. "For species used to emotional restraint, it was overwhelming." A communication alert chimed. Kelv touched a panel and a message appeared. "The Confederation Council is meeting now," he said gravely. "They're discussing whether to classify Earth as a psychic quarantine zone." "That would cut us off from interstellar trade and diplomacy," Olivia said, alarmed. "Yes, many species fear what they don't understand." Kelv hesitated, then added, "But there's something else happening that the Council doesn't know yet." He pulled up reports from border worlds, planets at the edge of Confederation space. "Some aliens are willingly adopting dogs," he said, showing images of different alien species with Earth canines. Despite the supposed danger, there are those who find value in the emotional connection. Olivia studied the images, noticing how happy both the aliens and dogs appeared. "We need to show this to the Council," she said firmly. "Dogs aren't a threat. They could be the key to deeper understanding between our species." "It will be difficult," Kelv warned. "The fear is deeply rooted. Then we need to change their minds," Olivia replied, "and I think I know just how to do it." As if on cue, the small dog from the testing room trotted in, somehow having escaped its enclosure. Instead of running away, Kelv watched the animal, with a mixture of fear and fascination. The dog sat at Olivia's feet, wagging its tail and looking up at both of them with trusting eyes. Ambassador Natalie Wright stood before the Confederation Special Committee with her proposal displayed on the large screen behind her. 6 months had passed since the animal ban, and tensions between Earth and the Confederation had only grown worse. This was her last chance to change things. "The Diplomatic Canine Initiative," she said, gesturing to the screen. "A new approach to interspecies communication." The committee members shifted uncomfortably. Representatives from 12 different species sat at the curved table, all keeping a safe distance from each other, a sign of their discomfort with emotional proximity. "You propose using the very creatures that caused this problem?" asked the Draconis representative, a reptilian being with emerald scales. "Not using them," Natalie corrected. "Working with them as partners. Dogs and humans have collaborated for thousands of years. Now we can extend that partnership to interstellar diplomacy." She touched a control, and the doors at the back of the chamber opened. 3 humans entered, each with a dog walking calmly at their side. Several committee members flinched. The Lyran representative, a feline-like alien with striped fur, actually hissed. "These are specially trained therapy dogs paired with experienced handlers," Natalie explained. "They can help bridge the emotional gap between species." She introduced the teams. Rick Patel with his border collie, Shadow, Julie Freeman with her yellow Labrador, Sunny, and Ben Carter with his husky, Luna. Each dog sat perfectly still beside its human, projecting calm. "Your first assignment," Natalie continued, "would be the Draconis Lyran peace talks." The Draconis and Lyran representatives exchanged suspicious glances. Their species had been in conflict for centuries, their emotional incompatibility preventing lasting peace. "We refuse," said the Lyran flatly. "These creatures are weapons." "They're bridges," Natalie insisted. "Please give them one chance." After much debate, the committee agreed to a test case. 2 days later, the diplomatic dog teams arrived at the neutral space station where the Draconis Lyran peace talks had stalled for the 20th time. The first meeting went poorly. When Luna the husky wagged her tail at the Draconis leader, he experienced what his medical team called a psychic shock, requiring him to leave the session. "This isn't working," Ben told the others that evening in their quarters. "They're too afraid." "We need to try something else," Rick agreed, stroking Shadow's black and white fur. They didn't get a chance to develop a new plan. That night, a small, Draconis child, the offspring of one of the diplomatic aides, wandered into the Earth delegation's area. The curious youngster found Shadow in an exercise room and approached without fear. When the diplomatic teams gathered the next morning, they were shocked to find the Draconis child sitting on the floor playing with Shadow, both of them radiating joy. "What is happening?" the Draconis leader demanded, rushing toward his offspring. "Your child has no preconceptions about dogs," Julie explained gently. "Children are often more open to new experiences." The leader watched in amazement as Shadow gently played fetch with the child, carefully dropping the ball directly into the small clawed hands. "I feel what my child feels," the Draconis leader said, touching his chest in wonder. "Through the dog. It's creating a connection." The Lyran representative approached cautiously, drawn by curiosity. "May I observe closer?" Over the next few days, something remarkable happened. With the dogs acting as emotional intermediaries, the Draconis and Lyran delegates began to understand each other in ways they never had before. Shadow, Sunny, and Luna helped them sense the emotions behind the words, building trust where centuries of talking had failed. By the end of the week, they signed the first successful peace agreement between their species. News of the breakthrough spread quickly across Confederation space. Ambassador Wright received requests from a dozen worlds wanting to work with the diplomatic dog teams, but not everyone was pleased. On the Confederation capital world, a group of conservative species formed a political movement called the Purity Conclave. Their message was simple and frightening. Earth's dogs are not what they seem. They are the first stage of a human invasion of our minds. The Purity Conclave held their first major rally on the central plaza of the Confederation capital. Thousands of aliens from dozens of species gathered to hear the speakers. Floating screens displayed their symbol, a circle with a line through the silhouette of a dog. Earth's dogs are not natural creatures, declared the lead speaker, a tall Morrigan with sleek black skin and glowing red eyes. They are biological weapons designed to manipulate our emotions and gain political power, the crowd murmured nervously. Many had seen the news about the Draconis-Lyran peace treaty and the role Earth's dogs had played. For thousands of years, the speaker continued, humans have been selectively breeding these animals to become perfect mind control devices. The so-called friendship is actually a sophisticated neural hack. On a nearby space station, Dr. Olivia Mendez watched the broadcast with growing concern. Next to her sat Kelv, her Hryxian colleague, who looked equally troubled. They're twisting our research, Olivia said. Yes, dogs co-evolved with humans, but not as weapons. They evolved as companions and working partners. Fear is a powerful motivator, Kelv replied softly. Many species find it easier to believe in conspiracy than to accept that they might need to change. Their conversation was interrupted when a message alert flashed on Olivia's screen. It was from her research assistant on the medical deck. Dr. Mendez, you need to see this immediately. 10 minutes later, Olivia stared at the brain scans on the laboratory display. They showed the neural patterns of a Zephyrian who had participated in multiple therapy sessions with Earth dogs. Do you see it? The assistant asked, pointing to subtle changes in the brain structure. Olivia nodded slowly. The neural pathways are being permanently altered. Is it dangerous? Kelv asked, studying the scans. Not dangerous, Olivia said, looking through more data. But significant. Extended exposure to dogs is causing minor but permanent changes in alien neurophysiology. She pulled up comparison scans from other species who had worked with Earth's dogs. All showed similar changes. They're becoming more emotionally resilient, she realized. The brain is adapting to process stronger emotional signals without overload. Before they could discuss the implications, an emergency alert sounded throughout the station. On all screens, an announcement appeared. By order of the Confederation Security Council, all Earth biological entities are hereby restricted from official functions. This includes all diplomatic canine teams. Olivia's communication device chimed. It was Ambassador Wright. Did you see? The ambassador asked, her face tight with worry. Someone leaked security footage from the serious piece. Tux. It shows the Arcturian minister being affected by Julie's dog, Sunny. Affected how? Olivia asked. The minister started crying during negotiations, Ambassador Wright explained. The Purity Conclave is claiming it proves mind control, but it was actually a breakthrough moment. The Arcturians have been stuck in an emotional suppression cycle for generations. Kelv looked deeply troubled. The Purity Conclave is gaining significant political power. 3 major Confederation worlds have already banned all Earth visitors with biological companions. We need to fight this, Olivia said firmly. Your research proves dogs could be beneficial to many species. The Council won't listen to research now, Ambassador Wright replied. They're shutting down the diplomatic dog program entirely. Then, we go underground, said a new voice. The door had opened to reveal Lisa Ortiz, the veterinarian from Jupiter Station. Behind her stood Sam Cooper and, surprisingly, several alien allies. We've been running a network helping aliens who want contact with Earth animals, Lisa explained. And the demand is growing, not shrinking. The Purity Conclave has mobilized, Sam added. But so have we. One of the aliens stepped forward. Olivia recognized her as a Zephyrian diplomat. Not all of us fear what your dogs represent, the Zephyrian said. Some of us see it as the next step in our evolution. Ambassador Wright looked at the group with new hope. How many allies do we have? More than the Conclave realizes, Lisa replied with a smile. And they're not just seeking therapy anymore. Some of them have actually bonded with dogs of their own, which makes them very dangerous to the Conclave's agenda, Sam added quietly. Outside the window, they could see more security ships arriving at the station. The confrontation was just beginning. 2 months after the complete ban on Earth animals, Strange reports began coming in from across Confederation space. Dr. Olivia Mendez reviewed the latest data on her tablet as Ambassador Wright paced nervously around the conference room on the Earth diplomatic vessel. 17 worlds now, Olivia said, looking up from the reports, all showing the same symptoms. Ambassador Wright stopped pacing. And the Confederation still refuses to acknowledge the connection? They're calling it a coincidence, Olivia replied, but the evidence is clear. What they were seeing was unprecedented. A mysterious condition was spreading through Confederation worlds, one that affected the emotional centers of alien brains. Symptoms included emotional numbness, loss of empathy, and what humans might call depression. The condition was spreading, fastest on worlds that had most strongly enforced the ban on Earth animals. The door slid open, and Lisa Ortiz entered with Sam Cooper. Both looked tired but determined. Our underground network can't keep up with demand, Lisa said, dropping into a chair. We're getting requests from species that previously wanted nothing to do with Earth animals. Even the Tellarites, Sam added, and they were the ones who proposed the original ban. Olivia pulled up a new set of brain scans on the large screen. I believe I know what's happening. Look at these. The images showed alien brains before and after exposure to Earth dogs. The after scans showed new neural pathways and increased activity in emotional centers. Contact with our animals was actually strengthening alien psychic health, Olivia explained. The sudden cutoff created a kind of dependency crash. Their brains had started to adapt to the stronger emotional connections, and now they're struggling without that stimulus. Like withdrawal, Lisa suggested. Similar, yes, Olivia agreed. But on a neurological level, Ambassador Wright looked thoughtful. This could be our chance to reverse the ban. If Earth animals are actually beneficial to alien health. A priority communication alert interrupted her. The screen switched to show a Zephyrian diplomat, the same one who had allied with them months earlier. Ambassador Wright, the Zephyrian said urgently. The situation has worsened. The Purity Conclave leadership has blocked all official research into the condition. They're suppressing information about possible connections to the animal ban. Why would they do that? Sam asked. The Zephyrian's antenna quivered with anxiety. We've discovered something disturbing. The core leadership of the Purity Conclave belongs to a species called the Void Singers. They are empathic parasites who feed on emotional suppression. That doesn't make sense, Olivia said. Wouldn't they want more emotions to feed on? No, the Zephyrian explained. They don't feed on emotions themselves, but on the energy created when emotions are controlled or suppressed. For centuries, they've subtly influenced Confederation species toward emotional restraint. And Earth's animals threatened that control, Ambassador Wright realized. Dogs, especially, since they help other species process and express emotions freely. The Zephyrian nodded. Exactly. And now representatives from 17 affected worlds want to meet with you secretly. They need help. After the call ended, the room was silent as they all processed this information. What can we possibly do? Sam finally asked. The ban is still in effect. We can't bring therapy animals to 17 worlds. Ambassador Wright stood up straight, a determined look on her face. Maybe we can. I have an idea, but it will require Earth's full support. She outlined her plan. A fleet of ships, each carrying volunteer handlers and their animals, would travel to affected worlds under the guise of humanitarian aid. They called it Operation Good Boy. It's risky, Lisa warned. The Purity Conclave controls the Confederation security forces. They could intercept the fleet. We'll have to be careful, Ambassador Wright agreed. But we can't ignore suffering on this scale. Dr. Olivia looked at the brain scans again. The longer we wait, the worse this gets. Those worlds need emotional support now. Then it's settled, Ambassador Wright said. I'll contact Earth government today. We launch Operation Good Boy as soon as possible. Outside the window of their ship, they could see a Confederation cruiser patrolling nearby. The real battle was just beginning. 200 ships flew in formation across the stars. Each vessel carried dozens of handlers and their animal companions. Operation Good Boy had begun. At the head of the fleet was the flagship Hope's Companion, commanded by Captain Daniel Rodriguez. On the bridge beside him sat his German shepherd Rex, alert and watchful as the stars streaked past the view screen. "All ships report ready, Captain," said the communications officer. Daniel nodded and stroked Rex's head. "Send the signal. Each ship proceeds to its assigned world." The fleet separated, spreading out across Confederation space. The Hope's companion continued toward the Confederation capital, where the crisis was most severe. On the capital world, the leader of the Purity Conclave, a void singer named Morkant, received the alert about Earth's approaching fleet. "Intercept them," he ordered his security forces. "These humans think they can undo our work." The void singers had spent centuries guiding Confederation species toward emotional restraint. The psychic energy created by suppressed emotions was their food source. Earth's animals, dogs especially, threatened everything by teaching aliens to process emotions freely. In space, the Hope's companion detected approaching Confederation warships. "They're charging weapons," reported the tactical officer. Daniel exchanged a glance with Rex. "Hold course. This is a humanitarian mission. Open a channel." On the screen appeared the commander of the Confederation forces, a scaled humanoid with 4 arms. "Earth vessel, you are violating Confederation space. Turn back or be fired upon." "We are responding to distress calls from multiple worlds," Daniel replied calmly. "We bring medical aid for the psychic plague affecting your people." "There is no plague," the commander insisted, but his voice wavered. Daniel noticed the commander's eyes looked dull, his movements sluggish, symptoms of the emotional suppression illness. "Your own crew is suffering," Daniel said gently. "Look at them." The commander glanced around his bridge. His officers moved like machines, their faces empty of expression. "We have our orders," the commander said, but he made no move to fire. Suddenly, another officer on the Confederation ship stood up. "Commander, I cannot follow this order. My child is ill with this condition. Many of our families are suffering." More officers joined the protest. Minutes later, the Confederation warships moved aside, allowing Earth's vessels to pass. On the capital world, Morkant grew angry when he learned of the mutiny. He called an emergency meeting of the Grand Council, intent on ordering a planet-wide lockdown before the humans arrived. The council members filed into the Great Chamber, but they moved slowly, affected by the spreading emotional numbness. Morkant took the central podium. "Today we face invasion," he began, his voice echoing through the hall. "Humans bring their psychic weapons to—" The chamber doors burst open. Captain Rodriguez walked in with Rex at his side. Behind them came Ambassador Wright, Dr. Mendez, and representatives from affected worlds. "This is not an invasion," Daniel said clearly. "This is a rescue mission." Morkant's true form began to show through his disguise, a dark, shadowy being that fed on emotional suppression. "Guards, remove them," he ordered, but no one moved. The guards, like everyone else, were too affected by the emotional plague. "You have fed on these people's suppressed emotions for centuries," Ambassador Wright said. "That ends today." Rex moved forward, his brown eyes fixed on Morkant. The dog sensed the darkness and danger in the void singer. "Stay back," Morkant hissed, his form shifting more dramatically now. In that moment, Rex did what dogs had done for humans for thousands of years. He stood protective, loyal, and fearless before his human. A wave of emotion, love, courage, and unwavering dedication radiated from the dog. The council members gasped as they felt it wash over them. For many, it was the first strong emotion they had experienced in weeks. Morkant lunged toward Daniel, a desperate last attack. Rex did not hesitate. The dog's protective instinct for his human created a powerful psychic shield that everyone in the chamber could see, a golden light that pushed back the void singer's darkness. The Confederation members watched in amazement, as a simple Earth dog stood against a creature that had manipulated them for centuries. One by one, they stood and joined the circle around Rex and Daniel. The combined emotional strength of hundreds broke Morkant's power. In the days that followed, therapy animals from Earth ships visited all corners of the capital. The emotional plague began to lift as aliens learned to feel freely again. 1 month later, the Confederation formally recognized Earth's animals as sentient diplomatic partners and established the Interspecies Emotional Exchange Program. On the HFY sunny lawn outside the New Earth Embassy, an alien child played fetch with a puppy, both radiating joy. Ambassador Wright watched them with a smile. "Who would have thought," she said to the alien diplomat beside her, "that dogs would be our greatest ambassadors to the stars?"